Good day. My name is Shimon Lawton and I work for MANCOSA's School of Education. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our reality. The spread of the virus, mainly through droplets from the mouth and nose, forces us to change our social interactions, including those of teaching and learning. Due to the socio-economic inequalities in the South African context, quintile 1 to 3 schools do not have the necessary resources to switch to high-tech remote teaching and learning. Over and above this limitation is the capacity and the readiness of some teachers, as technology skills were always seen as a tool for the ICT classroom. But COVID-19 has thrust all educators into this uncharted territory as we look at how to effectively teach and learn remotely. This webinar series will focus on building and fine-tuning tech skills of educators throughout the South African context, from those with none or limited tech skills to those looking to refine their ability to teach remotely. We at MANCOSA's School of Education believe that the challenge brought about by COVID-19 pandemic should not result in children from deprived environments being left behind. It is with this in mind that we have gathered together professionals to equip and train our teachers to serve our communities meaningfully during this time. The MANCOSA SOE is proud to be a partner in this essential initiative to equip our educators and enable them to adapt to this changing environment.
Good day, my name is Shimon Lawton and I work for the School of Education at MANCOSA. We are currently in a series for remote teaching and learning. In this phase, we're looking at doing so economically. We have with us today Henrika Makulu, who will talk on the topic, creating resources for effective remote teaching. Henrika Makulu is from Harare, Zimbabwe. She currently works as a data analyst for a leading African tech company which uses digital solutions to drive socio-economic development. She has a passion for training learners and educators in digital literacy. She has participated in various training platforms, including TEDx talks. She once said, "Tech is not the scary monster you think it is." Welcome, Henrika.
Thank you for having me, Shimon. I'm excited to be here.
So you've been working with this topic of creating resources for some time now. Have you found that this could be effective during remote teaching and learning?
Definitely, Shimon. I've found that this time more than ever with the pandemic calls for educators to be more robust in terms of the tools they use. And tech is definitely something we all need. So it's very important for educators out there to be equipped with the right tools so that learners can learn from home and teachers can teach from home as well.
So you've mentioned these tech skills that teachers definitely need to build. And as you know, the South African and African context is one where teachers it's quite uncharted territory for teachers right now. And when we look at also data usage, that is something that also comes into play. For teachers who have a little tech knowledge, what would be my starting point as that type of teacher?
Okay, so this is something I'm very excited about. A lot of teachers are intimidated by technology. So what I like to do is to simplify it and make it very basic. So my hope and objective for today is to teach, like you say, the teacher who even maybe hasn't opened a computer before, it's their first time working on a document, will be helpful even for someone who's beginning from scratch.
That is amazing. So would you be able to take us step by step through this process? Because I know this would be a very helpful tool to many of our educators.
Sure, I'm excited to do so. Maybe let me begin by sharing a little bit of inspiration of what tech can do for you. So I recently went to a school and taught a lesson on conservation. And what I've found with young ones is sometimes they can disengage if you don't have enough visuals. So I just wanted to share this presentation I did that the kids found very helpful because it had a lot of pictures. it got them thinking about a lot of things. And my hope is that through something similar, teachers would be able to learn how do I do this, and how can they do it while they're at home, and share this with the learner at home. So I hope you've seen a little bit about what visuals can do for a presentation.
I know this, as I'm watching it, is very engaging. But as a teacher who's never used PowerPoint, would you be able to take us through the basics of even being able to put such a visual presentation together?
Definitely. So what we will leave with today is we're going to do one page. I know my presentation was a long one, but we're just going to do one page for everyone to try out at home. So you will leave with the ability to create at least one page of a great PowerPoint visual. But Shimon, maybe to begin with, if I can just share our objectives for today. So we want to cover 3 things. Those 3 things are, we want to create a document. Say maybe you want to write a letter to parents. How do you create that document and share it over simple media like WhatsApp, for example? The second thing is just what I said. We will be creating a poster in PowerPoint. Say you want to invite your students to an online lesson. How do you create a great visual poster? I will also show how to do that in a phone. Say you don't have a computer, can you use a phone to do that? And lastly, creating a lesson in PowerPoint and then sharing it. So if it's okay with you, we can go ahead and begin. Like I said, I will assume 0 knowledge. So once you've opened your computer, you have this screen, which is your desktop. And what I like to do is to organize my files so I can find them easily. So what we're going to do is create a folder where we will keep everything we work on during today's webinar. How do I do that? I right-click on this desktop, this space, and select New and a new folder. So it's created a new folder for me. And today I'm going to be a teacher called Mrs. M. So I'm going to name my folder Mrs. M's Lessons. Right, an extra S there. Okay, so I now have a folder. I'm going to double click it to open it. This means I can now create documents within this folder. To create a document, I right-click on the white space. Again, select New, but this time we're not creating a new folder. We're creating a new Microsoft Word document. So I will click on Microsoft Word. Once again, you're given the option to name that. So I'll name it Mrs. M's Letter, because it's a letter we're going to send to parents. Right, we have a document, and then you double click on it to open it. So you write your letter, dear parents, I invite you to an online lesson with Mrs. M. Okay, you can write whatever else you want to write in that letter. For now, I'll just keep it short and simple. What you can also do, perhaps you want to show the parents a schedule, you can put a table. How do you do that? Here on these top tabs, File, Home, Insert, you go to the tab Insert, which is the 3rd tab, and Insert Table. So I'm going to insert a table. You can select how many rows and columns you want it to have. So I will, for now, for simplicity, keep it to 3 rows and 3 columns. And I will say day, time, and subject, for example. And then let's say Monday and Tuesday, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And Monday, let's say we will do English, and Tuesday we will do maths, for example. Okay, so now I have this document. And what I want to share is, how do I turn this document into something that's shareable? What is considered as best practice is to convert this document to what they call a PDF. The reason we do that is because if you send it as it is, people can edit your letter. And so someone can change it to something you didn't want. But once you convert it to a PDF, it's unchangeable. So we're going to do that now. So you simply go to File, the first tab there at the top left, and Save As. It simply means we are saving this document as something else. So click on Save As and select the current folder. You can select any other folder where you want to save the document, but for our case, we will choose the same folder we created. And in this bottom drop down, you now select the format. So like I said, we want to change it to a PDF. So we select PDF and you have name, and then click on save. All right. If I go back to the folder we created, I now have the two documents, the Word and the PDF. The last part of the first section is how do I then share this with parents over WhatsApp? I found a great secret weapon, which is WhatsApp Web, using WhatsApp over the computer. It is so resourceful. So you simply open your internet browser, which I'm doing now, and you type in WhatsApp Web, okay, which is this one. Now, what you have to do is to go to WhatsApp on your phone, open it, which I'm also doing right now via my phone, and there's an option under settings where it says WhatsApp Web. So you click on that, and there's a plus sign at the top right corner. You click on that and scan this, what they call a QR code. So you scan this code, which I'm going to do now with my phone, and it has successfully scanned. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the person to whom I want to send this WhatsApp. Maybe Shimon, any questions while I wait for this to load?
If I was a teacher that didn't have a laptop, would I be able to do this on my phone, like make a document on my phone? Because I don't have either a desktop or a laptop with me.
Definitely, Shimon, it's very possible. And we will show you how to do that when we go through the poster stage. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone to my messages with Shimon, and I am going to open the folder where we created the document, and you just drag and drop it to the side, okay? And then you can drag and drop the letter. So I'm going to take the PDF version, which is the second one, and drop it onto Shimon's number or whatever number or group you have on WhatsApp where you want to share this. And you click on this green send button. And there you have it. We've managed to send our letter via WhatsApp. When you've done that, you can now access that letter using your phone because you now have it on your phone. So I think that's a great resource for those of us who have computers to convert things and put them onto the phone or share them with other people. Moving on to the second thing, which is what I love and I'm excited about, we are going to create a poster of a lesson. So we want to invite students to come to our lesson next week, but we want them to be engaged and we want to create a great visual. How do we do that? We are back in our folder and we are going to right click once again. This time we're not going to open a new Word document, we are going to open a new PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint is a program that allows you to create presentations or visuals. So we're going to call it Mrs. M's poster, and we are going to open it. Once you open it, you have a blank slide, and it tells you to click to add your first slide. So you click and you have a blank slide. So what we do is say we want to say Mrs. M's English lesson, Monday, 2 p.m. And we want the kids to come to that. If this is all I want on my poster, I can click on this other box and delete this. So you just click and there's a delete button on your keyboard, press delete, it will be gone. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to move this slightly to the top so you can move it wherever you want it to be positioned. I'm going to move it to the top. Now to make this visual interesting, you can choose a background color for your poster. So you can right click on the white space and format background. That means we're changing the background. And you can see on the right here, you have options to choose a color. Currently it's white, which is quite boring. We are going to pick a nice bright color that kids love. Let's say bright green. There we go. So we have a nice bright green background, and let's say we want a picture. We go to Insert, the Insert tab at the top left. Remember our tabs: File, Home, Insert. So we're going to Insert and Insert Picture. So you click on Pictures, and you can select any picture that you've saved in your computer, for example. This is one way of adding pictures. So I'm going to pick a picture that I had, and I'm going to do that. And so you select the picture and insert, and there you go, you have a picture. Now you can resize this picture by simply clicking on the corner here and dragging it to the size you want it. So let's say I want it to be that size. I'm going to do that. And you can actually put your text on top of the picture. Right now, as you can see, my text has gone behind the picture. So I simply click on the picture and click Send to Back. It will then send the picture to the background, and I have my text over there. So there we have it. We have one version of a poster. Another option, I'm just going to delete this picture, is to make the picture our full background. So instead of putting the color here, you can select Picture Fill, which is there, and then File, so that we pick the picture from our files like we did previously, and we'll pick the same picture and click on Insert, and now that picture is our background. So you have a simple poster here where you'd like to share this on WhatsApp with your students. How do I share this? You have two options. One is, once again, you can save as PDF. I won't do that now, but if you remember for the previous objective, we went to File and Save As, so you can do that as a PDF and share. Or what I find very useful is your computer has a screenshot function. So if you go to the bottom left here and type in snip, your computer has a snipping tool which allows you to take a picture of anything on your screen. So if you click New, you then select which part you want a picture of. So I am going to select the whole poster over there. So you just drag across where you want and then let go. And there you have it, you have a picture. And so I can now save this picture. Once again, I go to File, Save As, and I will save the picture in our Mrs. M's lesson folder. Click on Save, and I have a picture that I can send to my WhatsApp group of students, for example. The last part we are going to cover is how do I create a lesson using this PowerPoint tool. So I'm going to insert a new slide. So you have to be on the Home tab, which is here, and click on New Slide. And let's say we have an English lesson and we have some content we want to share with the students. I will go to a folder where I previously had some lessons that I saved. Perhaps you find them on a website online, or someone has sent it to you on email, or maybe it's from your school. So I have various lessons here. So I will open one of them, which is this lesson over here. And what I will do is find, let's say today's lesson is an activity like this one. I will go back to my snipping tool. Remember our snipping tool, which we use to take a picture. I will click on New and highlight which part I want. So let's say I want this part. Drag across what the section you want, let go, and there you have it. You have a picture. To put this picture into my PowerPoint, I simply copy and paste it. So I go to Edit, and I can copy it. Go back to my presentation, click, right click, and paste. And there you have it. I have my English lesson for today. And I can then share this the same way we shared this poster. So these are some of the ways you can use PowerPoint to enhance your lesson with visuals that will engage your students and help you have better lessons. At this stage, maybe we have questions. Shimon, I don't know if you have any questions for me.
If I would, when we're looking at the font, like English lesson,
Yes.
and I wanted to change that font, how would I go about doing that?
Okay, great. So to change the font, you click on the font that you have. So say it is, like you said, English lesson. You highlight it. So you just highlight by dragging and dropping, okay? And on our home tab here at the top left, you have font options. So for example, you can change the name of the font. So if I click on this little arrow over here, it gives me the different types of fonts I can use. Say I wanted a fancy font for the kids to enjoy, I could put that, for example, and change the font. To change the size, you have these two size buttons here. The big one is to increase the font. The small one is to decrease the font. So you can make it as small or as big as you want. You also have the option of changing the font size through numbers, for example. So if I wanted it as size 54, I could click on there, and that's how you change the font size. You can also make this bold. You can underline it. You can add a shadow. So the B here is for bold, I is for italics, U is for underline, S is for shadow. And you can also change the color of the font through this portion over here. So I hope I've answered you, Shimon.
That was excellent, thank you. That is very, very helpful. I think as teachers, we need to remember that visuals are an important part of producing a resource because it keeps our learners engaged and their attention as well as something that they're drawn to. So thank you for this presentation. I think it is extremely helpful to create posters as well as sharing content with our students. When it comes to PowerPoint, is this application available on devices like smartphones?
So yes, some smartphones come with PowerPoint already installed in the phone, but most basic entry smartphones do not. So you would need to download it the same way you download WhatsApp, for example. So I can show you how you do that over here. You basically go to Google Play Store and you type in PowerPoint, and there is an app that will come up that is called Microsoft PowerPoint. Another option is one called Google Slides. So Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides, both options would work the same way. And then you simply install that application the same way you install WhatsApp, for example. And this is how it would set up. If it was your first time using it on your phone, this is how it would set up. It would ask you if you wanted to sign in with your email or not, but you can, in this case, I clicked cancel, so you don't necessarily use your email to sign in. You just press cancel, and then you can actually accept the terms and conditions like every app comes with, and you can begin designing your slide. So if you don't mind, in a few seconds, I can just show you how that is done. So there was, let me just go back. There is this plus sign over here, which allows you to create a new PowerPoint presentation. This is now on your phone. So once you click this plus, you have the option to create a new PowerPoint slide like we did even on our computers. The first option means you're going to get a blank presentation. The second options are themes. Say you want a green colored presentation or a red colored one. It has themes for you. So you then select which one you want to use. In this case, for example, we started with a blank slide and you have the same format as we had on the computer. In another case, we select a theme. So let's say we want this blue theme over here. You select that and you now have this slide with the blue theme. You double click in the text box to add text, similar to how we did it in our computer PowerPoint as well. It's pretty much the same functionality and you can create a poster. So as you can see here, I was creating a poster on my phone using PowerPoint as well. resizing and removing the text like we did with the computer. And maybe let me just forward to the final thing, which is where we had an image. This image would be added through your gallery in your phone. So you can have a picture that you want to use, you use it over there, and you will then have a poster like this, which you can also then share as a PDF or as a picture. So that's also very possible on your phone. So you can either do it on your computer or on your phone.
Henrika, can I just stop you there? When you were adding the image, whereabout did you go?
Okay, so maybe let me go back to where that was. There we go. I will press play. Okay, I think I need to go back and press pause for that, sorry. Okay, so if you press on the 3 dots here, it allows you to add an image. So that's where I went. I think it wasn't coming out clearly, but you press the 3 dots, it will say add, and then you select image, and it will take you to your gallery. And so I got this from my gallery in my phone. So you can actually save pictures to your gallery from the internet or that someone has sent you on WhatsApp. But I must add a disclaimer that with pictures, you need to be careful to ensure that the picture you're using, you're allowed to use, because pictures have copyrights and you're not just supposed to use any picture. Perhaps it's someone's personal picture. So please be very careful when selecting images from the internet or from your phone.
I think that's a valid point, and it's something that we really need to take cognizance of as educators. There's a site called Pixabay that actually gives you some free pictures if you are interested in collecting a variety of pictures to source. Pixabay is one of those that will give you free pictures if needed.
Great, indeed. There are many resources out there for where you can get free pictures. Yeah. So I think that's it for today's lesson. I hope you have learned a lot. There's still so much more you can do, but this was just introductory in terms of how do I start from scratch in creating a letter, a poster, or a lesson for my students or the parents.
Henrika, is there any last tips or nuggets you have to share with us before you go?
Sure, maybe a quick one is just that we should not be afraid of technology. If we stay without learning technology, we will become redundant. So we need to learn how to reinvent ourselves and adapt in these crazy times. So technology isn't as scary as you think it is. Go out there and try it out, see what you can learn, and be a better educator to your students.
We want to thank you, Henrika, for joining us today. And we've become so much more knowledgeable on creating resources at this time of remote teaching and learning. Please join us next time as we look at now taking audio and resources that Henrika has introduced to us today, and how do we compress audio to be able to send it through applications like WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Hope to see you next time.